Welcome back, guys and gals, boys and girls, children of all ages. It's me, Condition, better known as Specialist Bu. This is the third part of our multi-video series covering prior service returning to basic combat training for a second time. If you guys haven't checked those out, I would advise you to go check those out when you can. So here we are. You've completed all the basic paperwork to get you from recruiter all the way up to MEPS. You've done your COVID testing. This is filmed in 2021, so that's where we are. If it's later and COVID's over, just go ahead and disregard. You've done your COVID testing, you're ready to walk up to MEPS. How do you get into MEPS? What is MEPS? I'll tell you in just a second, but first, let's try and keep the lights on and pay some bills. Well, there we go, guys. Bills didn't get paid. There we go. Lights are back on. Well, you guys must have subscribed. So you're probably asking yourself, what's MEPS? MEPS is the Military Entrance Processing Station. Every single service member who wishes to join the Uniformed Armed Forces or the military have to go through MEPS. MEPS is located all over the country. Based off of where you live, you'll be sent to your closest MEPS location. For instance, I first enlisted out of Salt Lake City because I was on the West Coast. This time, when I re-enlisted out of Louisiana because that's where I was. I got lucky and didn't have to go X amount of hours with a recruiter on a very awkward, quiet car ride to MEPS. So when you first go with your recruiter, you're not going directly to MEPS. That wouldn't make any practical sense to send thousands of people instantly to one location. It'd be a paperwork nightmare. What you're going to do is your recruiter is going to send you to a nearby hotel. The military has certain partnerships with hotels where they can send you to places like the Radisson on the West Coast, or they can send you to one of the Armed Forces approved hotels on the East Coast or down south. When you arrive to your hotel, your recruiter is going to direct you to a person that's going to be referred to as your liaison for MEPS. The person is going to be in a centralized location where all the recruiters bring all of their potential recruits to something like a lobby. You're going to check in with your liaison. They'll give you a sheet of the rules of the hotel and advise you of certain regulations that apply to you, such as you can't leave in certain places and instances. You can't stay out after a certain hour. I think mine was 9 o'clock. You had to be in your room. We weren't allowed to use any of the facilities like the gym, the pool, the hot tub, the weight room, any of the fun stuff really. Then you'll be assigned a room. You'll receive a key card and a meal voucher. You'll go up to your room, and at a certain time that's been explained to you by your MEPS liaison, you'll be able to use that voucher given to you to go and eat dinner, compliments of MEPS. Then, before you go to sleep at night, around 20:30, for you guys, around 8:30 p.m., you guys will all be rounded back up into a room, have your briefing on what you need to wear, what's expected, documents to bring at MEPS the next morning, and then you'll be given a time to wake up. I think ours was like 3:30 in the morning, so I hope you get your sleep. It's going to be important. Good morning. It's probably about 4 o'clock the next day. You would have had someone call you and give you a wake-up call to ensure that you woke up on time. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go downstairs, another voucher is given to you, you sign out your room, you bring your belongings with you, and you eat breakfast. Then, at around 4:30, 4:45, buses come. Big white buses are going to pick you up and take you to the nearby MEPS location. Once you arrive at the MEPS location, which is usually a short drive, depending on where you are geographically, the MEPS driver is going to drop you off outside of your MEPS location well before they open. You're going to realize real fast that in the Army, it's more important for you to wait for them than for someone higher, or more important to wait for you. You'll be standing outside for probably 20 to 30 minutes until somebody comes and opens the door. Important things you need to remember, and they may seem kind of awkward or unnecessary. You need to wear underwear. I know it's very weird to have to tell you that, but you're going to be getting down into your underwear for your physical. Nobody wants to see that. I apologize, everybody. I had to cut that because it was too funny for me to maintain my military professional bearing. I'm going to tell you you're required to wear underwear in a place of business. Now that that's out of the way, You also are not allowed to have smartwatches. Don't be sneaky and try to put your smartwatch in your pocket or sneak your phone in. You're just going to get disqualified from MEPS and make your recruiter unhappy, is the word we'll use. You're also going to be required to wear a belt. It's male and female, you have to wear a belt. Nobody wants to see you sagging your pants, and you can be disqualified from the MEPS floor and not allowed to test or take any appropriate physicals or complete any contracting because you couldn't pull your pants up. Remember that this is not only an interview, it's probably the most important job interview you'll ever have in your life. It's a job, but it's a serious profession. Once you get inside MEPS, you'll be broken down into branch. So Army goes in one line, Marine Corps goes in the other, and etc. for all branches. You'll have liaisons assigned to you, both civilian and military. They're going to come by and check you in. You'll be required to have 2 forms of identification: your driver's license or passport and your social security card. Those are the ones that were acceptable when I went both times, so I'm not 100% sure on other forms of ID. Once you're checked in, we'll take your fingerprint, you'll get a photo, and they'll give you a big sticker you stick on your chest. It has your last name, first name, what branch you're going into. And that's just a way they track who you are, so you have like a visitor pass. Then you'll go and you'll start running the gamut for all your tests. If you're just now coming here for the first time, you're going to go through tests like hearing, make sure your hearing's okay. You'll go through blood testing. You'll go through vision testing, and then you'll go and you'll get your physical done. Your physical could be a new experience. It's not your high school physical to get a waiver to play football. It's more of a reflexology kind of physical. They're gonna do certain exercises or movements they're gonna work out to see if your back has issues, or your knees, arches of your feet, your ankles, even your hands. If you have any large open wounds or visible injuries, I would talk to your recruiter before you decide to go up to MEPS. You'll probably be able to postpone it a few days or maybe a couple weeks, but it's better to just wait until they heal to risk infection to you, possibly others, or injury when you ship to basic. Now, if your prior service and you're watching this all probably sounds very familiar to you because you've done it before. Me, when I came back a second time, I went to MEPS 4 total times. Some for paperwork, sometimes because somebody didn't sign something, and sometimes to do the physical. I only did the physical the first time I went up there. The other 3 times I did what they call the Fast A physical, where I'd walk in, they'd ask me if anything changed medically. You just speak to the doctor for 10 minutes possibly, and you got front loaded, or put to the front of the line. Once you answered a certain amount of questions, they would just do height and weight. They would make sure that you're not overweight and you're still in a shippable status. You could be shipped to basic combat training. Now, for everybody, regardless of what your physical was, whether you had an entire and complete physical or you had a Fast A physical because you've done a complete one before, you're going to go into your recruiting office at MEPS. It's not really a recruiter, but it's a liaison for your branch. They're going to go over your contract, your recruiter's described to you. They're going to guarantee what your recruiter has said to you. If your recruiter offered you a bonus, that's where you're going to verify that your bonus is on there. If you have any kind of security clearance issues, they're going to tell you you may be contacted by your security clearance investigator, who's going to call and ask you some questions. Nowadays, pretty much all jobs require at least a secret security clearance. That's the way the Army's moving. So if they have any issues, don't sweat it. Answer honestly. If you owe some debts, you need to pay those down or get on some sort of a payment plan. Your liaison can explain better to you. That's not really my field. My field is making videos based off my experience. All right, so now you've finished your physical. You've confirmed that your contract is what it needs to be. Now what's going to happen is you'll get a ship date. The ship date is going to be a day you return to MEPS and you swear in and start your military service. When you return to MEPS, it's going to be pretty much the same thing as far as the morning, but your physical is going to be faster. You'll go in, you'll speak to the doctor, he'll make sure you're still medically cleared to be shipped. Then you'll receive a short briefing about military law, and then congratulations. you'll go and you'll swear in and start your first day of military service. After you've received your brief and you've sworn in, you'll receive a travel packet. Whether you're traveling by bus or by plane, you'll be given all your itinerary information and paired with other people going with the same means of transport to the same place. Pay attention to this information. You don't want to be the guy that gets on a bus when you're supposed to be on a plane. I've seen it happen. If you've never traveled before, don't panic. You're going to be fine. You're going to follow the herd of other people with the same itinerary, going to the same places you are. It's important for the prior service people, or those of you with kids, spouses, you get powers of attorneys done. Power of attorney is what pretty much gives your spouse a say in your affairs while you're gone. When you arrive to basic combat training, you're going to need this. You could give your husband or wife the ability to sell property if you have to sell property to move or something happens. It allows them to do certain things and act as you. If you don't have this, it's going to become very difficult for them to be doing things outside of basic combat training, such as getting your children or themselves military IDs to enter bases or enroll their kids in healthcare. TRICARE is what it's called. Get these things done before you leave. Me personally, I also went and I knew my kids were going to miss me and my wife was going to miss me and I would miss them. So I went and had little teddy bears made so everybody had something to hold on to when they couldn't see me. Little things like this are going to go a long way when you have to say bye to your family. But just remember, they're supporting you. They've supported you this far and they'll support you till the end. Also, from a financial standpoint, you're going to want a decent amount of money saved. Your recruiter's probably going to tell you something along the lines of 30 to 60 days of money saved to pay for your bills and unforeseen expenses. When I first went, I didn't have a pay issue. Coming back, I didn't get paid for 46 days. If for some reason you don't get paid on time, don't freak out. Whatever money's owed to you is going to be given back to you as back pay whenever your payroll kicks in. Also, any health benefits that your family needs is going to start the day you ship, so that won't really be anything you have to worry about either. One thing you do have to worry about is that whoever you're leaving there, your wife, your children, if you're older and you have adult children that you trust with your social, you need to leave your social security number with them. It's going to be the only way they can access your TRICARE benefits while you're gone. Well guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'm going to cover more in depth about reception in our next video, covering reception and shipping to basic combat training. I hope I answered some of your guys' questions you had. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like this content and you want to see more of it, don't be afraid to shoot me a message. Tell me what you want to see. Thanks.